The story of Julius Erving, known to the world as Dr. J, is not just the story of a basketball player. It is the story of evolution, of imagination meeting discipline, and of a man who quietly reshaped an entire sport without ever losing control of himself in the process. Long before basketball became a global spectacle filled with high-flying athletes and creative expression, Erving was already there, envisioning a version of the game that others had not yet fully understood. Born on February 22, 1950, in East Meadow and raised in Roosevelt, Erving grew up in a community where resilience was not optional, it was necessary. His father's absence meant that his mother played an even greater role in shaping his life. She instilled in him a sense of responsibility, discipline, and quiet strength that would later define his presence both on and off the court. These early lessons were not glamorous, but they were foundational. Basketball entered his life not as a career, but as an outlet. On the outdoor courts of Roosevelt, the game was raw and unforgiving. There were no coaches to guide every move, no systems to follow, just instinct, competition, and survival. It was in these moments that Erving began to experiment. He didn't just learn how to score or defend. He learned how to move differently, how to see angles others didn't notice, how to turn his body into an instrument of creativity. At Roosevelt High School, his unique style began to stand out. While other players relied on structure, Erving played with a sense of freedom that was rare. He could elevate above defenders, glide toward the rim, and finish plays with an elegance that felt almost effortless. But behind that grace was discipline. He worked relentlessly, understanding that talent without consistency would never be enough. His journey continued at University of Massachusetts Amherst, where his dominance became undeniable. Averaging over 20 points and 20 rebounds per game, he controlled every aspect of the game. Yet, even as he excelled, there was an underlying uncertainty. His style was unconventional, and basketball at the highest level was still rooted in tradition. Could his creativity survive in a system that valued predictability? That question followed him when he made the bold decision to leave college early and join the ABA in 1971. Signing with the Virginia Squires, Erving stepped into a league that embraced flair and innovation. It was a place where his style could thrive, but thriving still required proof. From the beginning, he delivered. Erving brought something new to professional basketball. He played above the rim in a way that was both powerful and graceful. His dunks were not just about force. They were about timing, balance, and imagination. He turned routine plays into moments that felt unforgettable. Fans were not just watching games. They were witnessing something that felt like the future. Yet with innovation comes pressure. Being different means being evaluated constantly. As he transitioned to the New York Nets, those expectations intensified. He was no longer just a talented player. He was the face of the ABA. Every game carried weight. Every performance was a statement about not just his ability, but the legitimacy of the league itself. And through it all, he delivered. He led the Nets to championships. He earned MVP honors. He proved that creativity and effectiveness could coexist. But success did not eliminate pressure, it increased it. In 1976, everything changed. The ABA merged with the NBA, and Erving moved to the Philadelphia 76ers. This transition represented a new challenge. The NBA was more structured, more physical, and less forgiving of risk. It was a league that valued control over creativity, and Erving's style did not naturally fit that mold. He had to adapt. And adaptation is never easy for someone whose identity is built on originality. Erving responded by refining his game. He became more calculated, more efficient, but he never abandoned the creativity that defined him. He found a balance between expression and discipline, between instinct and strategy. This evolution allowed him to succeed in an environment that might have otherwise limited him. With the 76ers, he became more than a star. He became a leader. Leadership, however, comes with its own challenges. The expectations were constant. The demand to win never disappeared. Year after year, the team came close, reaching the NBA Finals, but falling short of the ultimate goal. And in those moments, doubt has a way of creeping in. Can he finish? Can he carry a team to a championship? For Erving, these questions were not just external, they became internal. The weight of expectation can be heavy, even for the most composed individuals. But in 1983, everything came together. Alongside Moses Malone, Erving led the 76ers to an NBA championship. It was a moment of validation, a culmination of years of effort, pressure, and perseverance. The victory was not just about winning. It was about proving that his journey, his style, and his evolution had meaning. Even in that moment, Erving remained grounded. Because his greatness was never just about achievements. It was about consistency, professionalism, and respect for the game. Throughout his career, he carried himself with a level of composure that set him apart. He did not seek attention, he earned it. He did not rely on controversy, he relied on performance. In an era where the NBA was still building its global identity, Erving became one of its most important ambassadors. His influence extended far beyond his own career. Players like Michael Jordan would later take the game to even greater heights, but the foundation had already been laid. The modern emphasis on athleticism, creativity, and above-the-rim play can be traced directly back to Erving's impact. He showed that basketball could be expressive, that it could be played with imagination, that it could inspire. But influence is not always easy to carry. It requires consistency. It requires discipline. It requires an understanding that your actions will shape the future. Erving embraced that responsibility without ever losing himself. He remained focused, committed, and grounded, even as the game around him evolved. As his career progressed, he continued to perform at a high level. Even as younger stars emerged, his presence remained significant. He was not just competing, he was guiding, influencing, and setting standards. When he retired in 1987, he left behind more than statistics or championships. He left behind a transformation. He changed how basketball was played. He changed how it was perceived. He expanded the game vertically, introducing a dimension of play that emphasized elevation and creativity. He proved that discipline and imagination were not opposites, they were partners. The journey of Julius Erving is a reminder that greatness is not just about talent. It is about vision. It is about the willingness to challenge expectations while still respecting the fundamentals. It is about understanding that true impact goes beyond individual success. He didn't just play basketball, he redefined it. And in doing so, he created a legacy that continues to shape the game today. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this story on Julius Erving, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the journeys of legendary athletes.